Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. This is Brendan Ingram back here with another live stream this afternoon. So I'm going to be reviewing last night's Monday Night Raw. This is your May the 11th, 2020 Monday Night Raw review. So I should have been doing Monday Night Raw review last night, but I decided to do it this afternoon. So nobody won't forget about what happened on Monday Night Raw last night. So, before I get started, be sure you hit that like, subscribe button, and turn on all bell for notifications, because turning on those notifications is important, so you won't miss all my Monday Night Raw, NXT, and Friday Night SmackDown reviews on my channel. So, before I get started with the review, I just want to say that the show was, I think this Monday Night Raw show, I think they are finally starting to make this Monday Night Raw show a little bit better, from what I'm seeing. I don't know if those matches and those segments are boosting up any ratings or not, which I don't think they are still at this point right now. But I think this show, I honestly think, this is the honest truth, I think this show was better than the 4 weeks of garbage Monday Night Raw shows that they've given us. But there is still no audience in the arena, which means there's no crowd, which means I guess the show must go on, but the show's weird without crowd. I mean, question, doesn't the crowd help the ratings go up? Not necessarily. Sorta. Maybe sorta. But what's going to help the ratings go up is them giving us new matches, new segments, new backstage interviews, and all that stuff. I hate to say commentators too, but I guess we could say that too. I mean, isn't technically the Superstar Shakeup supposed to be coming up soon? Isn't that supposed to be coming up? WWE hasn't told us that yet. I don't think they told us about the Superstar Shakeup yet. But technically, the roster needs to have a split up. It needs to be fixed. WWE needs to have Superstar Shakeup, because some of the people on the roster need to be transitioned into a roster that they could be top stars in, you know. They need to transition into a brand they'll be top stars in, like NXT, either NXT, Raw, or SmackDown. The roster needs some fixing. That's all I can say about it at this point. Because so far, the Raw and SmackDown shows have sucked. They have been garbage so far. They have sucked. They've given us terrible shows for the last 4 weeks. Actually, for the last 5 weeks. Because last week's Monday Night Raw was garbage. I can guarantee you that. I can tell you that right now. But you know what? Something tells me this week's Raw was a whole lot better than last week's. It's just something about this week's Raw was kind of special, you know. And I'm going to go into what was special about this week's Monday Night Raw. This Monday's Monday Night Raw. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So, Raw opens up with a highlight reel of the duo Money in the Bank ladder matches, which were won by Otis and Asuka. I knew they were going to win the match. And folks, I didn't even watch Money in the Bank. I had better things to do than watch Money in the Bank. So let's be honest. I'm gonna make that clear to you. I did not watch Money in the Bank. I'm gonna say this again. I had better things to do than to watch some Money in the Bank 2020 pay-per-view. Hell, I don't even think anybody watched it because I've seen a lot of complaints on Twitter saying the Money in the Bank 2020 show sucked and it was garbage. I've seen some people say that on Twitter. And I've seen a lot of people saying that Money in the Bank was not too bad. So I guess we'll find out the real information on how the show was. But anyways, so the announcers mentioned that Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black are both fine and will actually team up tonight to face Seth Rollins. And Murphy also tonight will be getting a moment of bliss. The Raw Women's Champion, Becky Lynch, comes to the ring. So here is what was special about this Monday's Monday Night Raw. Lynch doesn't have the title with her, but she does have the women's Money in the Bank briefcase. Lynch was emotional and says tonight is not an ordinary night. She's torn between joy and sadness because things are about to change in her life. So she asked the decision makers to raise the stakes for the Money in the Bank match. And they did it, but before she gets to it, she walked through the PC doors in 2013 and she didn't know if she belonged. Becky Lynch cries. She didn't know if anybody would care about a loudmouth Irish woman who loved pawns and tea. But they did care, and they carried her to history through injury and trauma. The fans latched on to her, and she responded in kind. And that's what we deserve to hear it from her first. She has to go away for a while. Becky starts crying again, but out comes Asuka. Oh, by the way, which the Asuka I'm referring to is not that Asuka, but this one. So, yeah. Out came Asuka. Asuka rents and raves as only she can, seemingly mad that Becky has her briefcase. Becky says it is her, and Asuka is the only woman who can beat her, the best wrestler in the world, and that's why she's happy this is happening to Asuka. You see, the match last night wasn't for an opportunity, it was for so much more. Becky unlashes the briefcase, and inside is the Raw Women's Championship. Becky tells Asuka she can't wrestle anymore, but she can. Asuka grabs the title and celebrates like crazy while Becky laughs. Lynch tells her to go be a warrior because she's got to go be a mother. Becky and Asuka hug, then Lynch leaves looking sad. So, commercial break, we see a replay of Becky Lynch giving the Raw Women's Championship to Asuka, announcing her pregnancy. So Charlie starts to interview Becky backstage, but Rey Mysterio, Street Profits, Bianca Belair, Akira Tozawa, Ricochet, Liv Morgan, Kairi Sane, Cedric Alexander, R-Truth, and Natalya walk up and congratulate her. Of course, this is all of the baby faces on the Monday Night Raw roster. This is all of the baby faces backstage. Yes, these superstars are all baby faces. I gotta say, Becky Lynch's announcement was the specialist announcement, was the best special announcement on this week's Raw. Her announcement, this is what was so special about Raw, her announcement that she was pregnant. This could be leading to a storyline. That's what I'm thinking. This could be leading to a storyline upon her return. This is what I'm thinking. I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm just saying. Upon her return, I think they need to put her on NXT or NXT UK. So that way, when they put her on NXT UK, that way they could give us the dream match we want to see. Aoife Valkyrie versus Becky Lynch. That's what needs to happen when Becky Lynch returns. I'm hoping we see her return to NXT or NXT UK upon her return. So that's what we want to see. Valkyrie versus Becky Lynch. So, as far as giving the Raw Women's Championship to Asuka, I think WWE should have had a tournament to determine a new Raw Women's Championship. To crown a new Raw Women's Champion. I think that's what should have happened. I think that was lazy on WWE's part to have Becky Lynch give the title to Asuka when there should have been a tournament to crown a new Raw Women's Championship. I'm just saying. I mean, JD from NY was right when he said this on his YouTube. JD from NY was right when he posted this on YouTube. I saw his post and I actually retweeted it and said I agree with you on what you said when you said that they need to have a tournament. It was lazy that they had her given the title to her. It was just lazy, and I agree with that. I think it was lazy. Personally, think it was lazy. I don't think that WWE was thinking completely. I don't think they were thinking. So that's that. So after that, they show us a no disqualification match between Bobby Lashley and Humberto Carrillo. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Humberto Carrillo is officially still on the roster. Now, you would have thought that WWE got rid of him, but they didn't. Yeah, that didn't happen. He's still on there. So, there was a no disqualification match between Bobby Lashley and Humberto Carrillo. Here is what happened with the match between Bobby Lashley and Humberto Carrillo. So the match begins and Lashley lifts and slams Carrillo. Bobby puts Humberto in the corner but misses a running back elbow. Carrillo slaps Lashley and gets caught with a big one-handed spinebuster for his trouble. Lashley looks for a spear, but Carrillo avoids it, and he tumbles from the ring. Carrillo looks for a suicide dive, but Lashley hits him. The big man goes and grabs a chair, but Carrillo jumps off the apron with a dropkick, knocking the chair into Bobby's face. So it went on to a commercial break, and they were back live, and Lashley was attacking Carrillo in the corner. Carrillo knocks Lashley, then hits a springboard kick that knocks him to the outside. Lashley sidesteps a baseball slide, then catches Carrillo on his shoulders and slams him into the ring post. Lashley puts Carrillo against the ring post and swings a chair when Humberto dodges it. Carrillo then batters Lashley with the chair repeatedly, sends him back into the ring. Carrillo hits a springboard towards Lashley, but gets caught with a full Nelson and taps out. I'm guessing the full Nelson is Bobby Lashley's new submission move. That's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing it's his so-called new submission. Seriously, they're already giving Bobby Lashley a new move, and he hasn't even been in a feud with Brock Lesnar. And they haven't even put him as a future opponent for Drew McIntyre's WWE Championship, which they need to be doing. Putting Bobby Lashley up top they need to put Bobby Lashley as the top main roster, so he could be a future opponent for Drew McIntyre's championship. But first, what needs to happen is Aleister Black versus Drew McIntyre. First of all, that's what there certainly needs to happen. But you know what? Instead of Aleister Black not winning it, Otis won the Money in the Bank. I cannot believe Otis won the Money in the Bank. Aleister Black was me and JD's favorite to win. Was me and JD from NY's favorite to win Money in the Bank. But come to find out, that didn't happen. And I bet JD from NY was not happy about that. I most certainly wasn't. Because Aleister Black would have been the perfect opponent for Drew McIntyre. He would have been the absolutely perfect opponent for Drew McIntyre. Now, what could this mean for Otis? Well, this could mean a future opportunity to challenge Braun Strowman for the Universal Championship. But Braun Strowman could be going in a feud with a returning Lars Sullivan soon. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Lars Sullivan is going to be in a feud with Braun Strowman, because there is no way that they are drafting Lars Sullivan to Monday Night Raw. They're going to keep him on Friday Night SmackDown because he hasn't wrestled on Friday Night SmackDown yet. He needs to wrestle on Friday Night SmackDown more, so then years later they can draft him to Monday Night Raw. So I think they need Friday Night SmackDown needs to keep Lars Sullivan. Friday Night SmackDown on Fox, I'm referring to. Yeah, they need to keep Lars Sullivan. I think this would be a good idea for Braun Strowman and Lars Sullivan feud, and I'm actually going to be mentioning this on this week's Friday Night SmackDown review. My Friday Night SmackDown review, of course. Well, actually, your Friday Night SmackDown review. Yours. This is y'all's Friday Night SmackDown review, not mine. Just thought I'd put that out there. So, after this match between Bobby Lashley and Humberto Carrillo, Street Profits cut a promo backstage saying they're better than the Viking Raiders. They say they're going to beat the Raiders in a basketball game. And you know what? I have something to say about that too when we get to that. So, we didn't see the Raiders, and they didn't understand why they have to play basketball. Eric asked why they didn't choose something cool, like sword fighting, or people throwing. Ivor asked if it will help if they sing karaoke, and Eric says no. Ivor says they just have to be aggressive. Eric says there is such a thing as fools. Ivor is baffled. So, then it said after the break, Edge and Orton will be in the same ring. So, it said commercial break. It went on commercial break. It came back from commercial break. Charlie Caruso was joined by Asuka. Caruso asked how she's proceeding, and Asuka talks in Japanese. Kairi runs up and can't believe her eyes, then celebrates with Asuka. So we're seeing a lengthy replay of Edge versus Orton at WrestleMania. So then, Selena Vega and her man are embroiled in a big argument backstage. Then it goes to commercial break again. Folks, I'm really getting tired of these commercial breaks. I mean, I know they gotta have commercial breaks. Why can't they just have 1, 2, or 3? I mean, I'm really getting tired of these commercial breaks. I mean, it's not helping if they doing, and here's another thing's not helping. Them doing commercial breaks is not helping either. I don't think, in my opinion. They need to have at least 2 or 3 commercial breaks. Okay, so they were back from commercial break, and this match was already underway. So Garza, which was Garza versus Akira Tozawa, which happens to be this Angel Garza. But actually, Angel Garza's hair does not look like that anymore. Next Monday, I'm actually gonna have a new Angel Garza downloaded on this game. I'm gonna actually show you what his hair actually looks like now. Yeah, I'm actually gonna show you what his hair looks like now. That's not his actual hair now. He used to have that kind of hair, but that's not his hair anymore. His hair doesn't look like that anymore. So here's what happened with this match. So Garza attacks Akira and punches his face into the middle turnbuckle. So then Garza whips Akira to the ropes, but gets caught with a Hurricane Rana. Tozawa runs into a kick for 2. Then Garza puts him into the Tree of Wound for a penalty kick. And then Garza applies a submission and seems to talk trash to Austin Theory. Garza releases the hold and hits the wing clipper for the win. As soon as the match ends, Austin Theory gets in Garza's face and they argue while Andrade and Vega try to break it up. Drew McIntyre's music hits and he comes down to the ring. Garza shoves Theory at McIntyre, and he gets hit with a Claymore. Garza and Andrade laugh. So McIntyre hits Garza with 1 as well. Andrade and McIntyre argue until Drew calls for a referee. So it was Drew, the WWE Champion, Drew McIntyre versus Andrade. We've already seen this match. Why are they showing the same match? Why are they showing this match again? I don't understand why WWE can't come up with a different match. They have different talent back there. I mean, come on. What's going on? So, yeah, it's WWE Champion Drew McIntyre versus Andrade with Selena Vega ringside. So here's what happened with this match. Went on commercial break, then they return, and the match is already underway, with McIntyre overpowering Andrade with grappling. Andrade dodges McIntyre in the corner and lands a few blows, but then gets caught with a kick to the chest. Andrade rolls to the outside, but Drew doesn't give him the time to recover. McIntyre chops Andrade hard and then hits him with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker onto the apron. McIntyre gets Andrade back inside, but the United States Champion hits him with a baseball slide, then twists his arm around the bottom rope. Andrade then applies a cross arm breaker over the ropes. Andrade attacks the arm with double knees, but Drew kicks out at 1. McIntyre gets Andrade with 2 overhead belly to bellies. followed by a big boot and a chop from the top rope. McIntyre looks for the future shock DDT, but Andrade counters. McIntyre then catches him with a sit-out spine buster. Drew runs for the Claymore, but Andrade rolls to the outside. Andrade then uses the ropes to attack the arm before hitting double knees in the corner. They trade shots until Andrade hits a discus elbow, and Drew comes back with the Glasgow kiss. McIntyre hits a reverse Alabama slam, followed by a Claymore, and scores the pinfall. Folks, I don't even know why they're giving us this match when we've already saw it last month. We saw this champion versus championship match last month. You know, the WWE champion versus the United States champion. Yeah, we saw this. We don't need to see it again. Oh my God. And here is what pissed me off right here. Here is what the problem was right here. So, here's what I think I'm going to have something to say about. So, MVP approaches Bobby Lashley. Yeah, the almighty Bobby Lashley, by the way. He approaches Bobby Lashley backstage and asks him why he's wasting his talent and time on chumps like Humberto Carrillo, when idiots like Otis are getting title shots. He says he must have bad management. Lana flips her lid, but Lashley seems to be thinking about it. I mean, no offense, MVP has a point, but Bobby Lashley does not, let's be honest, Bobby Lashley does not need MVP to fucking get in his head. He does not need MVP to motivate him. He doesn't even need MVP as his manager. Bobby Lashley only needs himself at this point. He doesn't even need Lana as his manager. Let's be honest with that. I'm going to be honest about that. At this point, I think Bobby Lashley would do fine by himself. He has done fine by himself without a manager in the WWE. So, who gives MVP the balls to go talk to Bobby Lashley and try to motivate Bobby Lashley? Like, really? Yeah, MVP, the guy that should be retiring right now, the guy that did nothing to deserve to be on the Monday Night Raw roster, and most importantly, the guy that doesn't even deserve to be on the Monday Night Raw roster. Didn't even deserve to be in the Money in the Bank qualifying match against Apollo Crews. Speaking of Apollo Crews, he's out with a knee injury still. Yeah, he's still out with a knee injury. So after that, he said it's time for a moment of bliss as Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, come to the ring, and they congratulate Becky and shot the breeze until they're interrupted by the returning Iconics of what JD calls it, the Iconics of Moronics, the Moronics. That's pretty funny. I think he should just he should just be better off saying the Iconics of the Moronics, or should I say the Iconics of Moronics, which I think would be better. The Iconics of Moronics, the Iconics of the Moronics. Yeah, I think it'd be a whole lot better. I thought it was funny when he said Asuka and Kairi Sane are like the Iconics. Oh my God, that's just pretty funny. That was just pretty funny. I gotta admit, that was really funny when he said that. I thought it was funny. I mean, I don't know about you all, but I personally thought it was really funny when he said it. I personally thought it was funny. So, yeah, they were interrupted by the Iconics, Paige and Royce and Billy Kay, the return of the Iconics. So Royce and Kay are upset that they've returned to WWE, but they're being upstaged by Becky Lynch's stupid baby. They said stupid baby. They called Becky Lynch stupid baby. I don't think that was nice for the Icons to even be saying that. Obviously, WWE writers gave them a promo to say. They didn't just come out to say that by themselves. The WWE writers actually gave them that to say that. So they wanted to make some headlines and win back their tag team titles. Bliss and Cross say they haven't earned a shot but agreed to a match nonetheless. Which they haven't earned a shot. You don't just get an opportunity by returning. I mean, that is true. Bliss and Cross were right about that. You don't just get a title opportunity and return. You don't just return by getting a title opportunity. You have to earn it. I mean, that's true. They were right. That was true facts right there. So, it was Bliss and Cross. Bliss Cross Applesauce. That's what they call that team. Versus the Iconics. So, here's what happened with this match. This was a quick match. This didn't even last long. So, the match begins and the Iconics immediately take control. Royce and Kay make use of quick tags to isolate Nikki and grind her down with submissions. Cross knocks Royce off the apron, but Peyton then pulls her leg and boots her in the side. Then Royce is legal and gets hit with a jawbreaker. Then both women hit stereo tags. Tags made to Bliss and Kay, with Alexa hitting lariats and right hands followed by a moonsault for a near fall. You mean followed by a insult to injury? Royce tags back in and they hit a cheap shot followed by a double team finisher for the win. Gotta say, I guess that was a pretty good win for the Iconics return. I guess. Anyways, Rey Mysterio's interviewed backstage and he says he feels great. He said he had to hype himself up last night by saying the risk was worth the reward, but he saw his life flashed before his eyes when Corbin threw him off the roof. Thankfully, he fell only 6 feet on a second roof, and Aleister Black met the same fate. He tried his best, but he couldn't get the job done. Seth Rollins walks up looking dashfilled. Ray congratulates him and says being a father changes you. Seth just walks off and Ray looks annoyed. So it's Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, and R-Truth versus Shane Thorne, Brandon Vink, and MVP. I really wasn't interested in this match. This match was terrible as shit. This match really sucked. So bad that I didn't even want to watch it. I didn't even want to watch Monday Night Raw, but I did it anyway because it was my job to do it. Just like it's my job to do all these reviews, to give everybody the reviews they want to see. My job to give everybody what they want to see on my channel. That's my job. So, unfortunately, we have to explain what happened with the match between the tag team of Ricochet, the newly formed tag team, the so-called newly formed tag team of Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, and R-Truth. R-Truth were their tag team partners, by the way. So they put them in a 6-man tag team match against the team of Shane Thorne, Brandon Bank, and an old MVP? MVP? Oh, I'm glad I don't have him on there. I'm so glad I don't have MVP on there. I don't even want to download him. The guy sucks. I don't like him. I don't. Why are they still having MVP wrestle on the Monday Night Raw roster? Why are they still using MVP? Why? Why is WWE still using this guy? This guy has done nothing to qualify for a Money in the Bank, for an opportunity to, you know what I'm talking about. This guy hasn't even done nothing to deserve to be on the roster. Why? It's like, why, dude? And yet he gets put in a 6-man tag team match only for him to lose. Oh, because of a loser, MVP failed for his fucking team. Lost because MVP failed his team. He failed. Was so fucking big. Too bad. He couldn't get the job done, but R-Truth could. So, Truth starts with Thorne, and he kicks his leg out, causing him to do the splits. Then Cedric tags in and hits a drop kick. Truth seems to be doing a split personality. A split personality thing. Vink tags himself in and clobbers Alexander before applying a rear chin lock. Alexander fights to his feet, but Vink drops him and tags Thorne. By the way, I just downloaded Brandon Vink. Now, as I was saying, so yeah, he drops him and tags Thorne. So a submission and a stomp to the midsection from Thorne, followed by a tag to Vink. Cedric throws a few chops, but Vink punches him down. Then knocks Ricochet off the apron. Tags made to MVP and R-Truth, with the latter landing some right hands. Truth kicks MVP, but Thorne breaks the pin attempt. Ricochet runs in and attacks Shane. Then Alexander dives into Vink, but gets caught. Ricochet hits a moonsault from the apron onto all three. MVP punches Truth, knocking False Teeth out. And the distraction allows Truth to hit a lie detector for the win. Yeah, that was a victory over, pretty good victory over R-Truth. That was a pretty good victory over MVP, Sean Thorne, and Brandon Vink for the team of R-Truth, the newly formed tag team, Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. So as soon as the match ends, Lashley's music hits, and he runs down to hit Truth with a spear. Lashley applies a full Nelson to Truth, then MVP kicks him in the head. MVP and Lashley leave together. Charlie Caruso interviews Jinder Mahal backstage and welcomes him back. Mahal says, hold on, wait a minute. Here is the Jinder Mahal that we are referring to. This is the Jinder Mahal that ruined the SmackDown Live years ago. This is a Jinder Mahal that made the SmackDown ratings so bad that SmackDown Live had to be turned into Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. Really? Wow. Okay. No, like, seriously. It was so bad that WWE had drafted some of the Friday Night SmackDown superstars. It was so bad that WWE had drafted the Friday Night SmackDown superstars to Raw. It was bad. It was that bad. They had to draft them to Raw. I mean, why would they draft the whole Friday Night SmackDown roster to Raw? Only for the Monday Night Raw ratings to go down. Now you tell me if that's fucking bad or not. You tell me that. I personally agree it was bad. I personally agree that it was bad to draft all the Friday Night SmackDown superstars that were on that roster, that were on the SmackDown Live roster, to Monday Night Raw. Pretty bad if you ask me. Probably part of the reason why the SmackDown Live roster is not doing so good. Yeah, the Friday Night SmackDown Raw split needs to happen. Something needs to be done about this. The Superstar Shakeup needs to come back up. Something needs to happen. Because the Raw SmackDown ratings are not looking good. Jinder Mahal is part of the reason why SmackDown ratings were not looking good years ago. Anyways. Yeah, so Charlie Caruso interviews Jinder Mahal backstage and welcomes him back. Mahal says he is honored. It's been a long 10 months, and he's proud of his good friend Drew McIntyre become the WWE champion. As a former champion himself, he should be loved and respected, and he knows he made a lot of mistakes last time around. So this time his journey to the top will be that of a hero. Yeah, it's gonna be that of a hero, alright. It's gonna be more like them putting Jinder Mahal as Drew McIntyre's opponent for his title. Lord, I hope that doesn't happen. That's gonna be a disaster. That's gonna be a fucking disaster for the roster. Oh, I hope that doesn't happen. That's going to be a very, very bad disaster. Oh, and Jinder Mahal's one of the reasons why the Raw ratings are dropping now. Did you see that match between him and Akira Tozawa last month? Oh, Jesus Christ. That squash match fucking really sucked. That match fucking sucked. It was real bad. Really bad. It's like Jinder Mahal has lost his ability to wrestle. It's almost like he has lost his ability to wrestle for real. Dead serious. Oh my God. Why are they putting Jinder Mahal back to the top? When they need to be putting somebody like Bobby Lashley back to the top for an opportunity to challenge Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. They should have had Aleister Black, the favorite to win Money in the Bank, so they can have Aleister Black as Drew McIntyre's opponent for that championship. Oh, but what happened? Otis won. I said that again. I said that earlier, and I'm saying it again. Why WWE have Otis winning Money in the Bank? What did he do to deserve to win Money in the Bank? He's, not to mention, he's in a tag team with Tucker Knight. The guy that WWE labeled non-essential? Holy fuck, man. That's fucking crazy. So that's why Tucker hasn't been in the ring, because they labeled him non-essential. What in the fuck? See, this is one of the reasons why the Revival left the WWE, because of how bad the WWE is doing the SmackDown Tag Team division. How bad the Revival are the reasons why the Revival, WWE, as far as WWE goes, the Revival left WWE for a reason, because of how bad the tag team division is looking right now. The tag team division is not looking good, as far as what I've been hearing. I can tell you right now. Just like the Raw tag team division. Just like the SmackDown tag team division. Hell, the Impact tag team division's probably not looking good either over there. Japan Pro Wrestling tag team division's probably not looking good over there either. Well, Lucha Underground, we might as well not put that in there because that's gone. Some of them left Lucha Underground due to finance, due to having something to do with the finance and all that shit. So, I guess they weren't being paid enough money. What I'm thinking. At least it's what I'm thinking anyway. I don't even care what happened to Lucha Underground, to be honest. I really don't. I don't even watch it. Johnny Nitro was there once. Once known as John Morrison. Which happens to be Miz and Miz's partner. Hey, hey, ho, ho. More like the SmackDown Tag Team Division is sucking right now. Anyways, after the break, we're going to get a special look. They showed us a special look at the last Fright Network special on The Undertaker. So then we see AJ Styles sit down backstage with some popcorn, ready to watch the special. What the hell? Why in the hell are they showing AJ backstage eating some popcorn? Folks, what kind of backstage segment, what kind of backstage showing was that? What the hell? What in the fuck, WWE? What in the fuck? AJ Styles eating popcorn backstage? You got to be that fucking delusional, WWE. You really got to be that fucking dumb. What in the fuck is going on here? What in the fuck? Oh my god, WWE's got to get any dumber to have AJ Styles eating popcorn backstage watching the last ride. Dude, the feud is over. Please don't tell me they are putting AJ Styles and Undertaker back in the feud again. Don't tell me they're putting them back in the feud again. Don't tell me that's happening. We've already seen them in the feud. The feud is done. That's enough with the feud. No more of that. Boneyard match was good enough. We don't need to see any more matches between the two. Technically, Undertaker should be retiring, but he's not. Just like MVP. Just like the simple fact that they need to get Kane off the SmackDown roster. Because Kane is not wrestling. He is a Knoxville mayor. Why does Wikipedia still have Kane listed as a SmackDown superstar? They need to get his name off the Wikipedia. Wikipedia needs to get Kane's name off of the Friday Night SmackDown roster. WWE needs to take Kane off the Friday Night SmackDown roster. He's not wrestling anymore. He is done with WWE. He has retired. He's going to be a mayor now. They still haven't done it. I looked on Wikipedia. They still haven't took his fucking name off. They haven't even took MVP's name off either. Oh my god, man. What in the fuck? You gotta be serious. Anyways, as I was saying, back to what I was saying about the Monday Night Raw review, back to what I was saying in general, period. So, after that commercial break, so they showed us a fucking match that I was most certainly probably not interested in seeing. I don't even think JD was interested in seeing this match because at this point the Monday Night Raw show was fucking sucking already enough as it is now. The beginning of the show was good, but the middle and the end, oh my god, dude. I'm just gonna, you know what, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm just gonna say all this at the end. Fuck it. I'm moving on. Nobody got time to be explaining this shit now. I think that needs to be said at the end. instead of saying it now. Really. And WWE has the balls to let AJ Styles sit backstage eating a popcorn. You gotta be fucking kidding me. They gotta be that fucking dumb to show us AJ Styles, to show us a Titron of AJ Styles eating popcorn backstage, watching the last fight. And they're not even putting him in a match, so instead of not putting him in a match, he's backstage eating popcorn. It just doesn't make sense to me. I didn't like it. It was horrible. It was horrible. I didn't like it. It was them showing AJ Styles backstage eating popcorn. That backstage showing was terrible. They need to do better than that. That was just not cool. I was absolutely baffled by that. I was disappointed because I'm thinking AJ Styles was going to have a match backstage or in the ring. I mean, seriously. That was disappointing. The Raw show has been, for 5 weeks, has also been disappointing. I mean, they might as well bring the crowd back, because I think bringing the crowd back is really what's going to hype the show up, to hype both SmackDown and Raw shows even better. The WWE Universe. I'm just sitting up here scrolling down. I don't understand. I really don't. Sometimes I just don't understand what WWE is doing. Sometimes I don't even understand WWE myself. I don't understand why they keep continuing to give us these terrible shows week after week after week, and it's still fucking happening. And they're still fucking doing it. They're still doing it like they don't fucking care. And do you think that was a way, and do you think that match was a way to write Seth Rollins off TV? Do you think that's a match to write Seth Rollins off TV? Hell no. Absolutely not. That was not a good match to write Seth Rollins off TV. This match right here I'm talking about. Absolutely was not a good match to write him off TV. Terrible. And I still think they should have did a tournament to crown a new Raw Women's Champion. Still think they should have did that. I think that would have made more sense than to just hand the title to Asuka. I mean, I'm telling the truth, am I not? I had to tell the truth because the truth needs to be told. So it's Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black versus Seth Rollins and Murphy. The match starts with Black and Murphy, and the Dark One takes him down with a wrist lock. Rey tags in, attacks Murphy. Seth won't respond to tag attempts from Murphy. Rey attempts a DDT but gets thrown off. Tag made to Black, and he kicks Murphy in the chest for a 2 count. Rollins doesn't seem like he's even watching. Murphy turns the tables on Black and kicks him in the corner. Black tosses Murphy to the outside, then finds a dive, but springboards back and sits down. Murphy asks Seth to take a tag, but he ignores him. Seth Rollins just sitting there staring into space as if he's watching Titus O'Neil eating a birthday cake. He's just staring as if he is seeing the devil right in front of his eyes. And he's also staring as if he's upset that Becky Lynch is pregnant. Anyways, Murphy kicks Black, but eats a fury of kicks and a kitchen sink. Black knocks Murphy from the ring with a big kick. A big knee to the jaw. Also a big kick to the jaw, as I'm referring to knee. Sort of the same thing to me. Black gets on the apron and almost runs into Rollins, who just looks at him. Murphy capitalizes and knocks him from the apron as they head to commercial break. Back in the ring, here's what happened with the rest of this match last night. Back in the ring, Ray hits a crossbody, but Murphy rolls through for a roll up and a near fall. Ray counters Murphy's law for a bulldog. Ray punches Rollins off the apron, then looks for the 619 to Murphy, but Rollins grabs him and throws him to the floor for some reason. The ref decided that wasn't allowed. Disqualification, Mysterio and Aleister Black. That was a fucking terrible fucking ending to this match. Oh my god, absolutely terrible. A terrible fucking ending to this match. That end of the match was so terrible that I about wanted to turn the fucking channel. And then, given the fact that Seth Rollins put Rey Mysterio's eye in the sharp steel steps, tried to mess up his fucking eye, that was disrespectful to the former ECW, former Cruiserweight champion. It was disrespectful to the former ECW champion, former Cruiserweight champion, former United States champion. Heck, for that matter, I think he was former tag team champion too. Not sure if he was. So Rollins attacks Ray, poking him in the eye and showing him into the barricade. So yeah, once he shoved him to the barricade, Rollins yells at Murphy to stay back. Then he grabs Ray's head and slowly shoves his eye into the corner of the ring steps. Seth releases Ray and looks satisfied. So commercial break. So now they were back and Ray is in the doctor's room. His mask off and his eye blooded. Aleister Black is there as Seth and Murphy walk up. We all know that blood's fake. That blood's not real. That blood is actually fake. Anyways, we're back and Ray's in the doctor's room. His mask off. His eye blooded. Aleister Black is there as Seth and Murphy walk up. Ray walks off and Seth tries to apologize. He says he doesn't know what happened. Black attacks Murphy until they're pulled apart. So then Black should have been attacking Seth instead of Murphy. Seth was the one that did it, not Murphy. Anyways, we see, even though Aleister Black's one of my favorite superstars, I think they still should have had him attacking Murphy. Wow, see, this is what I'm talking about WWE writers not doing their jobs. Anyways, we see footage of the Street Profits warming up for their basketball game early today. The Viking Raiders are watching on and trying to learn the rules. They look to pass the ball to each other, but Ivar throws it into the ceiling. He throws it into the ceiling. The official match takes place after the break. Street Profits face the Viking Raiders in a basketball match. Needless to say, the Profits trashed them, making some impressive shots, while the Raiders have no idea whatsoever. Right at the buzzer, Eric scores a basket, and they think they've won, but the score is 74. 74-2. Folks, is this what you want? To see a basketball game in a fucking WWE arena? That's certainly what I didn't want. Folks, I'm not sure why they put Viking Raiders in the basketball game against the Street Profits. Folks, let me remind you that this is not basketball. This is World Wrestling Entertainment. What in the fuck were WWE thinking? They could have just rather put them in a match than put them in a basketball game. I mean, to further continue their feud. You know? Maybe have them in the ring cut promos. even better to further continue their feud. But no, they decided they want to put the tag team in the fucking basketball game. This is not basketball. This is wrestling. We don't need to see basketball in Monday Night Raw, on Monday Night Raw. We don't need to be seeing basketball games on Monday Night Raw. See, this is another sign of laziness by WWE. Another sign of laziness. Laziness and lack of using their talent that from backstage that they released from WWE. This was a stage of laziness and the lack of talent that they didn't use, that they just instead released from WWE. Because of financial reasons and because of the COVID-19. So, we got a Titron video showing, okay, what the hell just happened? How in the world did I push that button? I didn't even fucking push that. There is a fucking ghost on my live stream because I didn't even push that button. There is a fucking hacker or something because I didn't push that button. I swear to y'all that I did not push that fucking button. I did not do it. I didn't do it. This must have been pressed on accident or something. Because I didn't even look at the button when I pushed it. I didn't even look at myself pushing the button. This must have been an accident. I wasn't really going to do this match because of the simple fact that I wasn't interested in I'm not even interested in doing this match on this game, to be honest. I mean, the simple fact that they didn't have Aleister Black as the favorite to win the Money in the Bank, I most definitely was not interested in this match. Because of that, and because of everything else that occurred in the match. That I didn't want to see. Which was disturbing. What Seth Rollins did to Rey Mysterio's eye, for an example, was disturbing. Very disturbing. I did not want to see all that. We didn't want to see all that. We really didn't. So, backstage, the woman known as the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler, was warming up when Natalya walks up and tells her it's disrespectful to bash the miracle of motherhood. She tells her it's disrespectful to bash the miracle of motherhood. Baszler asks Natty what she knows about motherhood, saying she'll never have kids and the Hart dynasty dies with her. They'll go one-on-one after the break. So they were back in the court with the Prophets and the Raiders, and they shake hands and laugh. Eric says they let the Prophets win. Then he hands Ivor the ball, and he makes a series of perfect baskets, including from half court. Eric then laughs and says, anything you can do, we can do better. Ivor hits a slam dunk, and the Prophets are slack-jawed. So, it's basically Shayna Baszler. Last night, this match people were not interested in for one reason. This match was, and you can't blame them for that. So this was last night's match. Shayna Baszler versus Natalya. This is one of the other matches that took place on Monday Night Raw last night. So the match gets underway and they try to out-wrestle each other until Natty slaps Shayna a few times and calls her a bitch. Baszler kicks the legs from under Natty, then drops her to the corner. Baszler lands a cheap shot, and Natty asks her if that's all she's got. Baszler backs her into the corner again, then tries to trip her again, but this time Natty jumps over it and takes her own. Baszler comes back with a fury of punches and kicks in the corner. Baszler hits a suplex, then another for 1 count. Natalya attempts the sharpshooter. Baszler counters and tries to stomp the arm, but Natty avoids it. Baszler hits a knee to the face for the win. The reason why WWE Universe and all the other people that were watching Raw didn't want to watch this match is because they knew that Shayna Baszler was going to defeat Natalya. And I even knew that this was going to happen, which it did. Bam, there you go. That's your answer. They didn't even need to waste time putting Shayna Baszler in this match because she was going to win it regardless anyway. Given the fact that they gave her too many nicknames, Queen of Spades, Cage Fighter, Vampire, that's too many names, like I said. They need to come up with one name for the Queen of Spades. And that name should be the Queen of Spades. Because that was the name that was given to her when she debuted in NXT. She made her debut on NXT. That was the name given to her. Even Shayna Baszler was the name given to her. So anyway, they're backstage with Charlie, and she introduces King Corbin from SmackDown. She asks him about what he did last night, and he says he did what he thought it would take to win. Charlie asks what was going through his mind, and Corbin said that what people didn't see was that they both landed on a roof just 6 feet below, and they're obviously fine. Next week, he'll face Drew McIntyre, and it's because of his tutelage that McIntyre is a champion now. Next week, he will prove why he's the king. So then, after the break, Randy Orton and Edge, they said Randy Orton and Edge would be live in the ring that night, which they were. So after the commercial break, it said next week on Raw, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross will defend the Raw Women's Tag Team Champions against the Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. What the hell did they do to deserve the Raw Women's Champions? Looks like next week, we're going to have another week of a garbage Monday Night Raw show. You know what? I'm soon get ready to stop watching Monday Night Raw because this COVID-19 is never going to go away. I'm telling you, it's never going to happen. It's going to keep staying around as long as people would stay the fuck away from each other and keep their hands washed and stay safe. I try to tell people in a nice way at the end of my reviews, wash your hands, stay safe. But also, people need to be wearing masks. When they go to work, they need to be wearing masks. If you don't wear a mask, you're going to get the virus. That's just like what my older brother told me. So, just thought I'd put that out there for people who are not wearing masks, who are not listening, who are non-listeners, who are probably crazy mental health people that have mental health problems. And, yeah. So, Drew McIntyre, it says also Drew McIntyre will face King Corbin in a cross-brand match. Really? WWE is bringing back the wild card rule? The wild card rule? I said the wild card rule. I said wild card. I meant what I was referring to is wild card rule. So, there is no reason for WWE to be bringing back the wild card rule, ladies and gentlemen. What that's going to do is mess up a lot of things that's already been messed up, which is the ratings. That's going to bring the ratings down even worse if they bring the wild card rule back. But with a lot of people, with a lot of employees in the WWE being out, with some superstars, with Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins being out, everything is going to be messed up. Everything is going to look bad. And then it looks to me like every week we're going to be given more Monday Night Raw and SmackDown garbage shows. I tell you, the WWE really don't care about sports entertainment no more. I just don't think they care. I just don't think they care about the people who used to watch it that don't even watch it no more because of what they are doing, because of the ratings. Look at what the ratings. Look at the Monday Night Raw and SmackDown ratings. You think everybody's watching that? Do you think everybody's gonna be watching Monday Night Raw and SmackDown garbage shows that's been garbage for 5 weeks? Hell no. Absolutely not. Because of what WWE is doing with some of these talent. With the bad storylines they're showing us on those shows. With the bad matches they giving us on the shows. Including the one with Sean Thorne, MVP, and Brendan Vink versus Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, and R-Truth. That match, obviously, no one was interested in seeing that. Most importantly, no one was most definitely interested in seeing the match between Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy, and Aleister Black, Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black teamed up against Murphy and Rollins. And then the main event of Monday Night Raw was Edge, the Rated R Stupid Superstar. I was going to say the Rated R Stupid Superstar, but I'm not going to say that. So, the main event was the Rated R Superstar, the Hall of Famer. He is a Hall of Famer, so you gotta respect that he's a Hall of Famer. You gotta respect that Edge is a former heavyweight champion and WWE champion. So, Rated R Superstar came to the ring. Edge says, this is the first time he stood in the ring in 6 weeks. He said the night after the Royal Rumble that he wanted to retire on his terms. But WrestleMania is not the end. So what's next? He said last week he was watching Raw and saw the promo that said he was hunting the Viper. But that was news to him. He got his pound of flesh, and he's ready to move on. His family is ready to move on. And he looks around that locker room, and Randy Orton comes to the ring. He looks at Edge and says he came out here tonight to say one thing. Congratulations. WrestleMania, the better man won. Orton then drops the microphone and leaves. Of course, he stops and comes back and he says he tried to be the bigger man, but he couldn't. He hoped one day that he and Edge could be friends again, but he can't lie. It's true, the better man won at WrestleMania, but the better wrestler did not. Randy says that at the Royal Rumble, Edge made his triumphant return, and his behind other superstars. WrestleMania, Edge chose the stipulation and he won. But the only rule was that he had to incapacitate him. He had to incapacitate him. Or anticipate him. And yeah, he didn't get back up by the count of 10. But it didn't take 9 years by his count. It's been 9 years since Edge laced up his boots for a normal match, and he didn't think he has it in him. He didn't think he has it in him. Edge stares at Orton, and Randy says he knows that look. It's doubt, but Edge has grit and passion. And that's why he's in the ring. But all that great doesn't compare to his natural ability. Passion can't kick off the ring rust. There's no chance his great and passion will help him now. Orton says Edge has said he's a Hall of Famer. And that now he's back, he'll make Randy a better performer. So he thinks the story writes itself. That is, if he has the guts. So if he has the guts, it'll be Edge versus Orton in a straight up wrestling match. Caruso asks Edge if he has a response, and he doesn't say anything. Caruso says if it does happen, it might be the greatest wrestling match ever. So that was the end of the show. Which, of course, the Edge and Randy Orton that I'm talking about. Of course, the Edge that you know that I'm talking about, of course, is this Edge. Of course, the Randy Orton that I'm also talking about is this Randy Orton. This one. So yeah, that was the end of the show. Folks, the show was okay, but at the same time, this week's Monday Night Raw still absolutely sucked. It still sucked. The show still sucked. And WWE's never going to give us a better Monday Night Raw and SmackDown show. They're never going to listen to the podcasters. They're never going to listen to everybody who's telling them that they need to see better shows. They expect to see more better shows from Raw and SmackDown. And they expect to see crowds in the arena too watching them. WWE's never going to care about that. They said soon that they may be bringing the crowd back to the arena to watch the wrestlers wrestle and cut promos and watch, Titantron backstage. They're soon going to bring the crowd back. But when? That hasn't happened yet. We haven't seen the crowd in the arena yet. When is that going to happen? That hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened. It's already May, and that shit still hasn't happened. So when we're going to see the crowd back, it's remained to be unknown at this point. It's going to remain unknown at this point of when we're going to see the crowd back. Folks, this Monday Night Raw absolutely sucked. It was good. It was great at the same time, but it was also garbage at the same time. I mean, the start of the Monday Night Raw show was good, but the middle and the end of the show was not as good as I thought it would be. So I'm just gonna say the show, this week's Raw, was garbage. So this would be week number 6. So this would be the 6th time that they've given us a garbage Monday Night Raw show. Folks. Ladies and gentlemen, before I end this live stream, be tuning in for my Wednesday night NXT review, because I will be reviewing NXT tomorrow night, immediately right after I finish watching NXT on YouTube and the highlights and NXT. Immediately right after I watch the NXT highlights on YouTube, and immediately after I watch NXT itself, I will be, of course, reviewing. I'll be doing my NXT review that night. So, again, be tuning in for that. And I am not going to have time to live stream on World of Tanks, unfortunately, because I have to be at work by 5 o'clock. So I'm probably only going to have plenty of time to do that. I'm probably going to have plenty of time to do that. So, I might do it. I'm not sure. I am going to be doing some Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 video clips content this week. I'm going to be releasing some more Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 videos of matches that fights that you want to see on Dragon Ball Super 2. I don't know if they're doing the Dragon Ball Super 2 or not. They should. We need to have more. We need to see more villains and new villains. We need to see new villains made. They need to draw out new villains. You know what I mean? New villains like Moru, for an example. Moru. But anyways, this is the end of Monday Night Raw show. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Stay safe. And be good. I'm out.